Hello there and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Daphne. Thank you so much for joining me today. Here is a sneak peek to the last project that we're going to be completing for today. Can you guess what I'm using this for? If you can, leave it in the comments down below and you'll see exactly how this turns out at the end. We're going to get started out front at my lower steps. So as you guys remember, if this isn't your first time by, we did over the set of stairs. I repaired all of the crumbling mortar, and I also started doing the staining, but there are additional mortar that I need to apply. So I'm just showing you the areas that we're going to be tackling today, and then we're going to get started. I decided that I'm going to complete the staining up the side walls, the same as we have at the lower section once all of the mortar dries. So I'll be doing that over the next course of the week. In case you didn't catch our last two videos, we worked on this slope and we gave it a total refresh. So I'm going to link that video in the description in case you haven't watched. It was a two-part series that we were able to complete. So what we're doing is we are focusing very heavily on the front yard this season, and we are slowly tackling all of the projects that we need to do out here. So the first that we're going to be doing is the joint between the bluestone step and also the pavers. So in this area, it hasn't been sealed at all, and basically whenever it rains or we run the sprinklers, all of the water gets behind it and it basically goes down below the steps, and then with all of that moisture it needs to come out. So what it does is it deteriorates all of the mortar and concrete that's set in the bluestone steps. So we need to be able to stop that. So I just went in and I got rid of all of the excess soil that was there, and then we're going to mix up some of the mortar and then we're going to apply it. But before I do that, I just want to sweep down the steps because we have been working very heavily here in the front yard. So there's a lot of mud and debris. We have maple trees right above this, which cast a beautiful shade onto the slope and then also on our front yard. But because of pollen season, we've definitely been having the little helicopters and all the pollen coming down. So I just wanted to take this time to sweep down the steps before we get started. So I'm just mixing up the mortar that we're going to be using, and I did switch over to a different type of mortar. It is a still a type S, but it's a rapid set mortar that I picked up at Home Depot. I'm going to link my LTK shop inside of the description in case you're interested in shopping any of the DIY tools or materials that you're going to be seeing me use today. I'm going to have it linked there. I always link my LTK shop, my Lowe storefront, and also my Amazon storefront because I'm not sure exactly how you guys want to shop, and I want to make sure that I'm providing you with links so that you know exactly what I'm using. So always check the description, and basically the LTK shop lets me link across multiple brands. Lowe's, I can only link Lowe's products, and then Amazon, I can only link Amazon products. So it depends on how you like to shop, but I'm always listing everything down there, and I truly appreciate all of the support that you guys show me here on YouTube and then also shopping my links. So thank you so much for that. So I bought 2 bags of this rapid set mortar type S from Home Depot, and it sets up in 15 minutes, which it's a blessing, but then it's also a curse because you can only mix up the amount that you're going to be using very quickly. So you have to go back and mix multiple batches of it, but then you also have to make sure that you work very quickly. So if you've never worked with mortar before, I definitely do not suggest that you use the rapid. I'm going to have linked in the description the first mortar that I used, which is just your normal set mortar, and you have a lot more work time to be able to do it. Now, I bought 2 bags and they're like 60-pound bags because I have a bunch of projects that I need to do. I'm going to be returning the second bag, and I think I might try the fast set or the original mortar, which sets I think in 1 to 2 hours, just so I have more time to be able to work it. So you definitely want to make sure that you read the back of the bag to see what the set time is on the material that you decide to purchase. So I have to say I'm getting a lot more comfortable with using all of the different trials that I've accumulated over this process. I'm no longer using my hands to be able to push things into the joints. I have this little trowel, and then I've gained the technique of how I'm able to hold the larger trowel and then be able to push the mortar into the joints. And I think that it's going very well for me. I'm very proud of the progress that I've gained over the past couple of weeks. Now that we have the little mortar projects taken care of, I wanted to plant up this little planter that we have at the lower portion by the slope. I added a gardenia there last year when we did the retainer wall, and I really like the look of it. But as you guys know, gardenias is not hardy in my area, and I forgot to take it in over the winter. So that plant did not make it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some seasonal color. I went and I picked up this beautiful golden color. It's a Proven Winners plant. I'm going to plant it up here. What I'm doing is taking out the gardenia. I'm going to recharge the soil with some bone meal, and then we're going to plant up that beautiful annual. So here's a close-up of the variety, that we picked up. I've never used this before. When I pulled it out, it is a little root bound, so I'm going to tease the roots and then we're going to nestle it inside of the pot. We're going to add in some additional soil, then we're going to water it in, and I think that it's going to look really pretty here at the bottom of the steps. Let me know if you guys have ever used this type of annual before and how it, was for you. So all of these projects were done over the course of the week, and we've been battling cool weather. It got as low as in the high 40s this past week, and we've been having a lot of rain. So on this day, I was able to catch it when it was a little dry. It didn't rain on this day at all. So I was so excited to be able to get out and work outside and be able to knock some of the projects that, I had on my list. So we're just going to be sweeping down the front walkway. As I said, we did just finish up the slope project. So some of this debris is from the slope project, and then it's also just, from the pollen in the trees above. So we're just going to tidy up this space, and then we are going to continue to clean up all of the items that we use to be able to do the slope. Now that we have this finished, I just wanted to show you guys a close-up of the slope and all of the plants that we planted. And then we're going to start just moving, all of the items, the tools that I use to be able to complete the project. I have the tarp up top, and I just wanted to be able to fold that up and put it away. Then I have the supplies for the planting. I like to have a garden bag. I started using it last year, where all of the items that I frequently use, I have inside of my garden bag. So I have my fertilizer, I have all of my planting, items. So I have my trowel, I have my shovel, the small one. And then I also have any type of snips, that I'm going to be using, or lobbers. I put all of that inside of my bag so that I don't have to go back and forth collecting things. So if you're not using some type of garden bag or garden bucket, definitely try, to add that into your routine, because it definitely is helpful and it cuts down on a lot of the back and forth that you would do between your shed inside and your garden. Inside of your garage. we're just going to take this time to be able to sweep down the driveway. And this was a project that we did last year where we stained the pavers. So we're definitely going to be doing a refresh on that. I had picked up some polymer sand that I wanted to add into the cracks here on the driveway, and then also to the paver walkway up top. So I am going to be doing that project pretty soon, not in this video, but we're definitely going to be doing it. So we're going to be doing some pressure washing of the driveway and then also the pathway. And then we're going to add in the polymer sand. We have to make sure that we pick a day, a week actually, where it's very dry out, so that the base, after we do our pressure washing, can totally dry out before we're able to add in the polymer sand. So I'm hoping that I'm able to do that before the weather gets too hot. So we're going to definitely be checking the forecast so that we can be able to do that in a week, that is hopefully a little cooler out, but then also gives us that dry weather so that we're able to tackle the project. I've really been using my trash cans to just be able to collect a lot of garden debris. And then I set that trash can out on the organic curbside pickup day. And they're able to just dump it into the truck. Or if I have, collected a lot and it's not the one day that they come by, I usually just drop it off myself at the organic yard. So the next project that I wanted to do was plant up 3 tomato plants that I got a couple of weeks ago. So I went and I grabbed this planter in the backyard, and I thought that this was just old potting soil. But once I started moving around in it, I realized that this was just soil that I must have just got out of one of the beds in the back, because there was some landscape fabric in there. So I definitely know that that wasn't potting soil that's in there. So I took a quick break. I went to Lowe's and I picked up some potting mix. And I've never used this, this brand before. This is a Lowe's exclusive brand. And so we're going to try it out. I usually get Miracle-Gro potting mix. This one I think was $8.98, and it's a large bag of it. So I'm definitely going to check it out, and I'll let you guys know how it works out for me. But I think that it's going to be pretty good. It has the potting mix plus fertilizer in it. So it's always good to be able to get something that has the fertilizer already in it, even though I add in my additional bone meal or plant tone into the mix as well to give it a slow feed. But it definitely looks like it's going to be pretty good. The first tomato plant is just a patio tomato. I usually plant this up every year, and I really like the taste of these tomatoes. They are more of like a bush variety, but I do tend to still, use some type of support to be able to manage it throughout the season. But you're supposed to not need to, but I tend to just add it. I like to have the extra support so that the stems are not being weighed down. So what I did was I cut off the lower stems and I buried it about 2/3 down into the soil. I got it nestled in pretty well. I'm watering it in, and then we're going to add it to the backyard, and then we're going to add in the next planting. I have two of the same pots. This variety is a husky tomato that we're going to be adding, so I'm doing the same steps. So I'm just, giving you little snippets of the process itself, but it's basically the same as the first plant that we planted. So I thought that it would be fun to just take one of these planters. This is the planter, the plastic insert. I usually use it for the tall planters. So I am going to add this to the backyard, and it's going to be in one of the concrete planters that I have back there. So I'm using the insert to be able to plant it up. We're going to be doing it exactly the same as we did with the other two. And it's going to be, I think, really good because I think I can add a string as it goes to the top of the pergola, and then I can wind the tomato plant on that. And I think I'm going to share that in an upcoming video as this gets a little larger, the setup that I'm going to be doing for trellising the tomato. Let me know if you guys have ever done anything like this in the comment section down below. I am thinking that it's going to be pretty good, but let me know if you've tried it yourself. So this is midday, a couple of days later. This is actually Saturday. I'm releasing the video on Sunday, so I got out midday on Saturday to do this last project. Now, last week I decided that I was going to plant up this section. If you remember from last year, we were contemplating converting over to artificial grass. So I purchased a till on Amazon, and I'm going to link that. It was a tiller that I was able to purchase, and it is a beast, but I was able to conquer that project. It was very, very intimidating in the beginning, but I was able to get a handle of doing that electric tiller, and I was able to till up all of the grass that we had here originally. And then I experimented during the fall with planting Bermuda seed. Now I knew that the Bermuda seed most likely was not going to be able to grow at that time, because you're supposed to do cool season seeding during the fall and warm season, which is the Bermuda grass, during the summer, the late spring, early summer. So I knew that it wasn't going to work, but I was going to take the chance. A little bit of it did sprout and was able to germinate. Since then, I decided not to use Bermuda and that I would switch over to zoysia. Zoysia is a nice texture, warm season grass. It doesn't spread as aggressively as the Bermuda, so I think that it's going to be a happy balance between cool season turf and also warm season turf. Now, I live in New York in Garden Zone 7A, and I battle with being able to keep my grass hydrated and alive during the warmer seasons of summer. So I decided to switch over to warm season grass, which really thrives during the summer but checks out during the cooler seasons. Now, I'm totally fine with the grass going dormant during the winter seasons. I just want to be able to enjoy it during the warmer months, which usually my grass checks out during the summer. So I think that this is going to be a great experiment that I'm going to be doing this season. So last week I went on Amazon and I purchased some zoysia plugs, and I received them a couple of days ago, and I'm super excited to be able to plant them up today. So I just did all of the prep work. We already had tilled up everything during the fall season. We added in some lawn soil, which had all of the fertilizer already built into it. We leveled it out. Because I was doing the slope down below, I had added some of the mulch and some of the soil up here. So I'm just taking the time to rake it out and make it nice and smooth before we add in the zoysia plugs. So I purchased a tray of 50 plugs, and I'm just going to give you guys a close-up look of how the plugs are, how they arrived, and I'm super excited to be able to plant them up. Here's a close-up of the plugs. They're super healthy. What I like about them is that they were planted individually in these cells. It's not like a sheet of sod that they, cut up and they disturb the roots. All of these were planted individually, so it makes it a lot easier for them to be able to be planted and for them to be able to root in this space because they're individual plants. And I don't have to worry about them being shocked and having to baby them as much as I would if they were cut from sod. So I'm just taking the time to lay them out. I'm doing them roughly about 10 to 12 inches apart from each other. And I'm spreading them out towards this section over here, and then we're going to plant them up. Now, after doing a lot of research on planting warm season grass, I decided that seeding wouldn't be the best option because you would have to seed them in the summertime. And as you guys know, seeding in the summertime is very hard to be able to get germination because of the high temperatures and the amount of water and the amount of work that you have to do. So I think that doing the plugs is a much easier option, and I will be able to get a beautiful lawn out of this. Now it does take a little time because you do have to wait for it to root in and then for it to also spread. But by next year, I should be able to have a nice lush covering here on this side. And I have to say, I am patient enough to be able to wait that year to be able to get the lawn that I'm looking for. Now we are going to be doing this over here on this section, and then on the other side I am going to do plugs as well, but I'm going to keep the sod down that's there, the turf down that's there, and we're just going to add in plugs as we go. But I'll give you more details when we're able to do that project on the other side, exactly how we're going to be able to tackle it. So you guys always give me such great advice. So if you've ever done any type of warm season plug planting, leave me a comment down below and let me know how it turned out for you. Now, one of the things, this is how everything looks at the end. It's all planted up. I didn't pull out the balance of the germination because the zoysia spreads and it's basically going to take over any type of turf that's here. It's going to win the battle with that turf. So I'm not going to take the time to dig up the other turf that's already there. So that's why you see that there are plugs, and then there's also a little patches of other types of grass there as well. So we're at the end of the project. I'm just blowing off the additional soil back onto the turf itself. We're going to water it in, and then we are going to wait for the plugs to be able to take root. Should take about 2 to 3 weeks before I can start doing any type of cutting of this area. I'm going to make sure that I keep it watered daily, and then we're just going to wait. So I just want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed these projects that we were able to tackle. I really enjoy checking off each and every project that I'm able to complete. We've been able to do some amazing projects here in the front. So I'm going to leave the playlist in case you want to catch up on all of those projects. But I just wanted to take this time to thank you so much for joining me today. And I wanted to wish you an amazing week ahead. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you back here in the next video.